Let's talk about PMS, the symptoms, PMDD, which is Premenstrual Dysphoric Disorder. It's a more severe version of PMS. Its effect or impact on weight gain. My particular weight loss story is chronicled on social media, including my blog, BABBLINGBROOK.com, and on my YouTube channel, also under Babbling Brook there, where I lost up to 50% of my body weight. I talk about what happened thereafter in this episode, and I want to give you a quick trigger warning as well. There is mention of end of life on this episode. Join us on our Facebook group, Babbling Brook Podcast, and follow us on Instagram, please, at Babbling Brook Podcast. I personally have my social media under my name, at Babbling Brook. Thank you very much. I need to hear back from you. It's crucial. Please, folks, do so wherever you'll be listening to the podcast. If it's YouTube and Spotify, I know that there's a comment section on there. Otherwise, contact me at the aforementioned places and let me hear your thoughts on the show itself, the stories that are being told, how you connect, or anything that you want to talk about. Thank you very much. Enjoy. Friday, April 22nd, 2022. The time is 7:48 in the morning. I am in the California desert in a baby pink robe that my mom gave me via my sister who came to visit me in the U.S. Here's the thing. My default, actually, you know what? Maybe I was going to lie. Here's what I was going to say. Kind of don't want to say it anymore, but I was going to say my default mood, which is the mood that, you default to, how you normally are on an average day, is much more positive and much more upbeat. Actually, I think that is true. Or maybe, if I keep telling myself that. But I really believe that. That's my upbeat, my normal mood. And I think that it's also why I'm able to spend pretty much all of my life on a regular basis by myself. Because I'm not fighting demons 24/7. However, having said that, my other default, I'm kidding, it's not a default, but it's annoying as fuck. TMI alert. Just before my period, not just before my period, actually, because it's 2 fucking weeks before my period, then I feel like this. If you listen to the previous podcast, I was also rambling because it was within this period. Pardon the pun. So we're hopefully a few days before my period. I wish that this didn't happen. And I'm like, I hope that I can get to menopause. And then I talked to somebody about this and they were like, yeah, when you get to menopause, you have other hormonal problems. I was like, what? I am over having this feeling so often. The reason that, because you may say, if you're already looking at menopause, why have you not done anything about it all your life? The reason that I've not is because I would go online and see that one of the side effects of this problem that I'm having. It's not just PMS, which stands for premenstrual syndrome, and the side effects of that, not the side effects, what are they called? The effects, I don't know, of that are you feel like shit, you're irritable, you get bloated. This is not everybody, but this is just general ones. You have appetite, cravings, usually chocolate and junk food, but people usually say chocolate. Not me. Water retention, because then your breast will get tender, and as a result, they're sore. So all of that. Now you're looking at, you're bloated. So constipation is one of the ones. Everybody doesn't know all their problems because some people don't track they don't journal everything like I do. So they may not realize, they probably think, oh, great, I'm constipated, shit. But not realizing that it happens all the time at a certain time of the month. Some people say that, oh, a couple of days before my period. I don't know if it really is just a couple of days or it gets worse by then, and that's when they really notice. If it's just a couple of days, I'm really jealous of them, because for me, it's a couple of weeks. Some people will say the week before my period, and I'm like, why me, Lord? In the words of that song. So, oh my gosh, I should put something, because my feet are freezing. Normally I would turn on the heater, furnace or whatever, but I turned the pilot light off when I got my first bill. I was like, are you kidding me? Literally, I just turned off the pilot light because I was like, this will not be my bill ever again. If it's something I can if I can do about it. Likely, it's April, so it's, it's warm, getting warm already. And this area here gets really, really hot. I'm not too far from Death Valley, the hottest place on earth. No jokes. So even though it does get cold overnight, so that's a bummer, because now at night you have to turn on the heating, even though you live in the hottest place in the world, and then in the middle of the day you have to turn on the cooling thing. Are you kidding me? Back to the issue at hand. So now you're dealing with, you have appetite that's making you eat junk food, right? And then you get bloated, and then you're not going to do number 2. And you have water retention. Well, obviously, that's part of the reason you're not pooping. What's going to happen when you get on the scale? You're going to be heavy, right? From the junk and the not pooping and all of those things, you're going to be heavy when you get on the scale. How's that going to make you feel? Like shit, pardon the pun. Now, you're already feeling irritable and maybe sad as a result of the PMS. When I first started with the whole PMS thing, noticing the symptoms, I was in my 20s, maybe mid. And I remember going online and Googling, because I didn't know whether I was getting depressed and then eating because I was depressed, or I was eating too much and that was making me depressed, because I knew what happened, and because I know what happens when you eat too much. I was like, am I bipolar? Why is it that half the time I feel like shit? I didn't notice it had anything to do with my periods. I just was doing a lot of Googling, also it was my first time having so much access to the internet. I was just sitting in front, working 12-hour shifts, sitting in front of a computer with unlimited internet access, talking about porn or whatever the fuck you want. It was right there in front of you. And I once got called to the office because I used internet the most, more than anyone else. That's a whole nother conversation. I'm talking about this because one of the main reasons I do talk about my life, other than feeding a narcissistic view probably that I have, it's really to share with other people so that it triggers something within them, and it hopefully leads to an aha within their own lives where they're like, oh my goodness. Like if I talk to a friend, I don't have that many, maybe I have none, but there are people actually I hold dear to my heart. If I talk to a friend and they're just like, oh, I'm just like, how are you doing? They're like, oh man, I don't know, I feel like shit or whatever. And I'll be feeling like shit too around that time. If I happen to talk to them again around the same time when I'm feeling like shit of a different month, and they happen to be feeling that way, or we're talking about dieting or whatever, and they're like, oh man, I can't stop eating, I don't know what's going on, I was doing so well. If that happens to them and they tell me such a story around a time where I will be going through the same thing, I will remember it. I have very sharp memory. Just FYI. I remember everything. Sometimes I'm like, is this a good thing or not? Because, literally I remember it very vividly, whether it's good or bad. So if I talk to them again in a different month and then they're like, oh, I can't stop eating it, blah, 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 I'll tell them, because I'm realizing that this is around the same time of the month that they had said this before. Not because I'm journaling my friends' moods, but because if it so happens that our cycles are aligned like that, so I will notice because it's something that I would have been going through as well at the same time. So then I would ask them, when is your period due? I've asked random people this, females, when I talk to them and they're just like, blah, 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 and I happen, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to repeat myself. So they'll be like, actually in a couple of days, or actually started today. Oh, shoot. And I'll be like, okay, just saying. And then if it happens again, then I'm leaving. If it happens again, then I'm leaving. UB40 song, one of my favorite songs by them. So that's when they're like, it's so interesting because you asked me this last time and I had just started my period, or it was day before my period. And I'll say to them, just so you know, yeah, you're not out of control, like, oh my gosh, what a loser, I can't stop eating, I have no control over myself or whatever. It's hormonal. And they're like, oh man, that makes me feel better. Because I was like, shoot, and I was good for a couple of weeks, and now I can't. And then I'll tell them, okay, just after your period, you're going to feel this way. And then after a certain amount of time, then you're going to start feeling this way, and then you're going to gain, and then you're going to lose weight regardless of what you had eaten. But then you're going to gain weight regardless of what you're eating. And then basically at the end of the day, you find yourself just maintaining, or you just have one really good week of dieting out of 4 months, or 4 weeks. That is my situation. It's so hard to lose weight. Right now, I need to lose the weight that I wanted to lose in order for me to reach my final destination goal weight. I have lost more than 120, 130 pounds so far. Now, I didn't get to that goal. I was less than 5 pounds, close to it. And if you talk about so close, but yet so far. Someone else would have done something drastic, like maybe fast, maybe do something like illegal, just to touch on that goal. But what's the point of it? I wanted to reach it and stay there forever, hopefully, maybe even surpass it. I'm telling you, instead, in the last year or so, I've put on weight. Right now, I need to lose, to get back to where I was. I probably am up by 10 kilograms. That's about 22 pounds. If you put it in pounds, it sounds like a lot. 10 kilograms a lot too. No, maybe 7 kilograms. Actually, sorry, not 10. 7 kilograms, just like one dress size, one actual dress size, and I can feel it in my clothes. I would actually like to lose more than one dress size. So, I don't know. I don't talk about that. That's like depressing. But it's hard when you're on an active weight loss journey and you have one really good week to lose weight and watch what you're eating and you're doing everything right, 1,200 calories, oh my God, high protein, low carb, vegan, whatever you're doing. And then you start noticing, oh, I haven't gone to the bathroom for a certain amount of time, which means I'm retaining water. Yes, I'm still good, but I'm retaining water. I weigh myself every day. So you'd be like, wait, and it's kind of discouraging now because it's going up again. Why is it going up? And now you're back to where you were 7 days prior, even though you're still good, or maybe even better than you were last week. And now, I know, well, actually I don't know, but let's say I know. I know you don't, or the scale doesn't show the weight that you gained yesterday. It's weight that you accumulated over a certain amount of time. But hear me out. And then now you're in week 3. The first week you lost weight. Second week you kind of it crept back up, crept up, whatever that word is, up. And now you're like maintaining. Now you're exactly where you were when you started the week before. Before you were really good. So now you just maintain for 2 weeks. And it's kind of discouraging, but you keep going. And now you're week 3. And you're finding yourself adding a couple of slices of bread to your high-protein diet. And like maybe if I eat it in the morning, I'll burn it during the day. And you're exercising less. You don't have that much energy. Now you're sleeping more. Is it because I'm tired or is it because of the carbs? What are we doing? I'm not that motivated. Is it because of the carbs or am I really tired? Or am I just demotivated? Or is it because of the bad news that I got? Or is it because of my... Oh, shoot. Now you start looking at the calendar because now you're starting to feel like, wait, why have I not achieved the things that I've always wanted in my life? Oh, why am I fat? Why am I this? Oh my gosh. And you start being hard on yourself and you're like, whoa, this is not my personality. Why am I mean to myself? And then you start being mean to other people too. And you're like, oh man, I didn't have to say that to that person. Whoa, that's another thing. Like when people are mean to you, especially females on social media, just think about it. They may probably be PMSing and they're taking it out on anyone. I'm not even joking. That's probably one of the things. Maybe they're jerks, but that could also be a thing. So don't take it personally regardless. Like fuck them or don't. And you look at the calendar, you're like, it's 7 days before my periods. This makes sense. And now you're like, I'm still going to gain weight regardless of whether I'm good or not. And then you eat more. I don't know if it's because you're discouraged or it's because it's before your period or it's because of, yada, 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 da, 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 da. And that is the cycle, pun intended. I'm in that whirlwind romance now with the cycle. And some months, the emotions are much more intense, like the negative ones. I'm finding myself kind of struggling right now. This morning I woke up feeling fine this morning, and then it's like a wave of something that goes whoosh. And all of a sudden I'm like, wow, that YouTuber person, they only have a few videos and they have 27,000 subscribers. And they're just like out there. And you know how people look on social media, that people who are appealing to other people, they look like they got it figured out. Maybe they don't. It's just how it looks. And that's the shit that'll make you hate your life even more. And you shouldn't, because what do you know about this person? Next thing you know, they're on the cover page of a thing. They hung themselves. Maybe they didn't have it figured out after all. Maybe you have it figured out more than them. Maybe you don't. You just haven't hung yourself yet, etc., etc., etc. But they say compare and despair. You shouldn't compare, basically, is the whole point. So now it'd be like, wait, why is that person? Oh my God, I've had this channel for so long. Why am I even building it? Oh my God, what an idiot. Why am I wasting all the... And I'm like, whoa, stop. You want to do the things that you're doing. You're doing the things, especially at this point in my life, literally since I moved here, I specifically decided I'm going to do only the things that I want to do. Money or no money or whatever. Likely I have a decent cushion, so I'm okay. Speaking of cushions, if I want to sleep all day, I can just put my head in a cushion. But I'm not somebody who sleeps all day, even though I have been sleeping more now than before. I think all the tiredness of trucking, because I was tired all the time for 3 years in a row. It's like the body is finally catching up. It's just my eyes, looking at my eyes in the mirror and seeing them becoming white again. It's basically, I'm getting that glow back. It feels wonderful So probably, all the rest and whatever. Thank gosh. So much to be thankful for, always. So what I have, and I've self-diagnosed based on the internet, is called P for Papa, M for Mike, D for Delta, PMDD. It's the worst version of PMS. So Premenstrual Dysphoric, whatever disorder. Dysmorphic, I don't know what that word is, but it's something like that. And the reason, then I'm going to be done. The reason that I have not gone to, I know this is where we started. The reason that I have not, I have not taken anything for all these situations that I have. One of the major differences between regular PMS and PMDD is that yours is worse. If you're experiencing depression, you experience it the worst. And there have been a few reported cases where people suffered from PMDD, according to the internet. And the reason that I didn't want, when I was like really seriously working and focusing on like, applying a resume, oh my God, submit a resume and interview and whatever. I didn't want to have to fill out an application form where it asks me if I've ever taken antidepressants, and I have to say yes, because, it's mental health, and I didn't want to have that quote unquote stigma of having taken treatment for mental illness, because I was like, it's not, because some jobs, like as somebody whose career is truck driving, I was like, what if I have to tell people that I'm taking antidepressants? I just was concerned that as part of this, according to what I'm reading on the internet, some people are taking mental health things to stabilize the mood when it comes to that time. I don't know if they take it only when necessary or they take them all the time. I don't know. But I just didn't want to be involved in anything where I'm taking antidepressants, because my regular mood is not depressed. My regular personality, myself, I'm not depressed until I'm going through this. So now what are you going to be applying for a truck driving job and telling them, no, I have like this really severe PMS. That's why I'm taking antidepressants. Lady, you're on antidepressants. I don't even know if that's going to disqualify me for jobs, but I have filled out application forms over the years where I had to disclose that information. I don't know how that affects your situation. It shouldn't, no offense, Americans, but a lot of Americans take mental health something, or have had it at some point, or have whatever. I've just never seen anything like it. Not because more Americans are crazier than people from other parts of the world, but maybe Americans are more aware of it, and therefore they're doing something about it. So it's not a bad thing, it's just a thing. So that's the reason why I haven't done anything about it yet. But now, not that I want to take, and I've always been like journaling, trying to figure out and work around it, do my journals and do my gratitude thing and do my exercises of emotional being, and just like, pushing my vibes to be positive at all times and whatever. It's a lot of work that I do on a regular basis. It's that much harder when I feel like shit. At the end of the day, literally at the end of the day, whether I started my day feeling super shitty, the exercises that I do really do work. I'll talk about that some other time. They really do work, and I do feel good at the end of the day. But when in that moment, when you're feeling like crap, it really feels like shit. And thank you for listening. I have to go now because I really have been needing to pee for a while. Let me go. Talk to you later. Thanks for listening, and message me. Please give me a rating, 5 stars only. Thank you very much. And you can find me on all social media at BABBLING BROOK.